everyone, my name's Tara. This week for my response, I am going to submit a vlog, sort of an experiment. In about half an hour I'll be speaking in front of the Toastmasters International Club on campus, which is a club of students who are working on public speaking and leadership development. So each of these students goes through a series of 10 speeches and they work on different skills, and they're sort of graded or evaluated based on time of their speech, content. We have a grammarian, which counts the number of ums, ahs, and repetitive words. So that's just a little background. I'm only going to tape the speech part so it doesn't get too long for you. I guess what I wanted to test out was Kleist's theory that you find a strange source of inspiration in the face of your listeners. I've always, I think, viewed public speaking as something where the speaker imparts knowledge on the listener, and Kleist's essay gave me a different way of looking at it. So I'm going to see how I do tonight. If it doesn't go well, I apologize in advance, but I thought it'd be worth a try to see if speaking with the first person I meet about things I didn't exactly understand may enlighten me. So the next time I turn on the camera, I will be inside the Captain's Skull room, and I will be speaking. Hi guys, thank you for coming out tonight to the second Toastmasters meeting for the semester. We're really excited to have you here. Today I'm going to be giving a slightly different speech. I'm already done with the Toastmasters Guide of Speeches, so you may be wondering why I'm speaking to you tonight. This speech is about a book. The book is called 1,000 Plateaus by Deleuze and Guattari. I'm reading this book for one of my classes. We're about 2 chapters in. At the age of 12, I was convinced I would be a professional mountain climber. I'm not kidding. I'm quite serious. It was my dream. I joined the English version of Boy Scouts, and every weekend I went on a different hike, camping trip, excursion. It was fantastic. No one could stop me. I could look at a mountain, and 12 hours later, with a sprained ankle, I'd be at the top of it. I could look down at the world around me, and I had achieved something. The age of 12 was also my first experience with geography. My first teacher sat us down and taught us about plateaus. Flat plains, elevated plains. You can stand somewhere and not only see down or up, but around. A plane of consistency. I don't understand this book. I am saying this to you, and I am saying this to a camera, which will eventually link me to every single one of my classmates and my professor. I've read roughly 150 pages, and I don't know what to make of it. Kleist has an interesting essay called On the Gradual Fabrication of Thought. Whenever you seek to know something and cannot find out what it is by meditation, I advise you to talk it out with the first person you meet. You're the first person I've met, or at least the first person I've met since I decided that I was going to talk about this. I've tried to understand. I've tried to meditate. He says that we should not ask others questions, but tell them what it is we know, what we want to know. So, if a man begins speaking, the first thought comes from within. The second thought may be inspired by Ruben's face, Kimber's smile, or Jess's laugh. Deleuze and Guattari have a bunch of different interesting plateaus or concepts. Every chapter, aside from the introduction and conclusion, can be read independently. They suggest that you can start on page 50 or page 500, and you'll understand what they're saying, because each plateau can be read on its own or independently. In my case, I can start on page 50 or page 500, and I won't understand. Hopefully one day I will understand what they're saying, or begin to. They have an entire chapter dedicated to a body without organs. This concept is juxtaposed against an organism. We are all organisms. We exist with organs and a structure. Experimentation places interpretation in a body without organs. We are no longer tied to judgment or desire, but if it's an inevitable exercise of experimentation, already accomplishing the moment you undertake it, unaccomplished as long as you don't. It's desire as well as non-desire. Not a notion or a concept, but a practice. But here's my theory. This book has to be seen as a practice. An interpretation, a mode of being, a concept cannot explain it. I don't think anyone can rightfully tell you what you are meant to take away from this book, but it teaches us that maybe the self is not what we should be looking at, but rather a rhizome, a multiplicity. Instead of looking at a self who is perfecting their speech, whether it's through grammarian reports or timer reports, or different senses of analysis, we can look at ourselves, step back and say, maybe it's not a self or an other. Maybe it's just a becoming, a being, or a practice. I'm not exactly sure if any of this makes sense. I will go back and edit this, and hopefully, roughly 4 minutes, will be vloggable. But if it's not, that's okay. This was a trial. If you speak, something will come. Something that would not have come if you chose to meditate or have an internal monologue. Who knows? For today, all I can say is that this book is the beginning of a practice, the beginning of a new way of thought, and a beginning of an understanding that may or may not end with fuzzy lines.